Okay, guys, so let's carry on with Hedwig's Flight. Today we're going to talk about the rhythm of this piece. So far we've been covering the pitch, in other words, which notes to play. Today we're going to talk about the rhythm, and the rhythm tells us how long to play all of the notes and when we should play all of the notes. Now, under ordinary circumstances, I'd love to give you like a really detailed understanding of this, but I'm just going to give you a bit of a crash course today so that I don't overload you with information. Right. So, the first thing that we need to know in this piece is the way that we count it. Okay. Now, we're going to count this piece in the following way. We're going to count 1 and 2 and 3 and, okay? Now, why not 4? Because if we have a look to this time signature here, we can see that the top number is 3, and the top number in any time signature tells us how many beats there are in a bar before we start again. Remember, a bar starts when one of these lines is shown. So for this piece, we're only going to count 1 and 2 and 3 and, okay? And then we're going to start again. 1 and 2 and 3 and, okay. So that's the first thing we need to know. We need to know how we're going to count this piece, okay? So second thing, we need to figure out how long each of these ones should go for, okay? Now, I'm just going to blow through this here. So this is a quarter note rest or a crotchet rest, and it goes for 1 beat, all right? Now, how is this useful to us? How can we link this with this 1 and 2 and 3 and, which is the way that we're counting it? Well, each of these 1 and 2 and 3 and goes for half a beat, okay? So if we can figure out how many half beats this note takes, then we know how many of these it's going to last for, okay? And I've kind of spoiled it a little bit here, but I'll talk about it anyway. So there's an easy way to figure out how many half beats are in, or how many halves are in any number. And that way is to just times it by 2. So 1 times 2 equals 2, like that. And I could show you that, I could prove that to you with a little drawing. So if I have a circle, kind of like a pizza, and I slice it in half, one whole, or one beat, has 1, 2 halves in it. You see that each one of these is a half, and there's 2 of them in it, okay? So, all of that's to say that 1 beat contains 2 half beats, which means that this rest right here, it's a rest, goes until 1 and, okay? And same with this one, because this one is the same as this, it goes for 1 beat, which is the same as 2 halves. So that means that goes 1, 2, and lasts for both of those. This is a quarter note or a crotchet, which also goes for 1 beat, but of course we play. So because this one goes for 1 beat, which is the same as 2 half beats, it's going to last 3 and, okay? So let's just we're not going to do the whole thing today. We're just going to talk about some of the different notes. So let's move on to the next one. Now, this note here, if it didn't have the dot next to it, it would be the same as this, wouldn't it? It would just go for 1 beat. But because it does have the dot, it lasts for 1.5. Now, how many halves are in 1.5? Easy. We just times it by 2, and we get 3. If you want to see that with a drawing, if I draw 3, or if I draw 1.5 circles, like that, 1.5 circles, and I cut this one in half as well, we can see that there are 1, 2, 3 halves in 1 1/2. Okay, get rid of all of that gubs. So that means that that is going to go for 3 of these little beats down here, 3 little half beats. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then we've got one of these. This is called an eighth note or a quaver, and it goes for half a beat. Now, how many halves are in a half? I'll draw the thing, but I probably don't need to. It's just 1. Oh, I mean, that was a terrible circle, so you probably should just ignore that. So, only goes for 1 of these because there's only 1 half in half. Okay? And then we've got another quarter note or crotchet, which goes for 1, which means that it goes for 2 of these half beats. Okay? Because 1 times 2 equals 2. Okay, we've got some more kinds of notes here. We have a minim or a half note. This goes for 2 beats. So how many of these little half beats is it going to go for? Well, we're going to times it by 2 and get 4. Okay, so that means that's going to, this note here, oops, done badly there. That's going to get rid, we're going to get rid of that. So this one lasts for 2 beats, which is the same as 4 halves. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is going to last for all of those. All right. And then we've got another crotchet or quarter note, which goes for 2 half beats. So that one lasts for these ones. Okay. Do we have any other different kinds of notes here that we need to talk about? Let's talk about these last 2, I think. Yes. So we have a dotted half note. Now again, if this didn't have the dot that was right here, it would be the same as that one. So then it would go for 2 beats. But because it does have the dot, it's going to go for 3 beats. Okay. How many halves are in 3? If we times by 2, we get 6. And basically, all this means is that this is just going to last for the whole bar. So it's going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of those little half beats. Okay. And the same for this one because it's exactly the same. So it's just going to last 1 and 2 and 3 and getting messy now. But that's okay. All right. So now we know how long each of these are going to go for. And also when they're going to happen. So how are we going to use this in our playing? Well, what I've done for you guys, but I'm going to do the same again for you here, is I've done a sheet for you where I've drawn out all of the numbers underneath every single one of these notes. But I've made some changes to the colors, which I'm going to talk about right now. So if there is a note above these beat numbers underneath, so in other words, if there is a red, or if there is a number that I've drawn underneath the tab, it's going to be red. If there isn't, I'm just going to make it grey. Like that. Okay? And you will see that on the other sheet. So what all that means is that we're only going to play a note when we see a red number. So the first thing we're going to practice to make this work with our guitar playing is we're going to practice just saying these numbers first. And what we're going to do is if we see a grey number, we're going to make it quiet. And if we see a red number, we're going to make it loud. So that's going to sound a bit like this. So 1 and 2 and 3. And I'll do that one more time for you. So I'm making the grey ones quiet and the red ones loud. 1 and 2 and 3. And cool. So what that does is that shows us when we need to play this note. Okay? So now I'm going to try and do that with the guitar. I'm still going to count out loud and I'm still going to make these grey ones quiet. But when we get to a red number, I'm going to play that note that's below it. So like this. So in this case, it's going to sound 1 and 2 and 3 and So you see, I played this note here exactly when I said 3. Okay? Let's do this for one more bar, and then I will let you guys go for today. So, which are the numbers, which are the beats that have notes above them? Well, this one has a note above it. This one doesn't have a note above it. This one doesn't. This one does. And this one does. Okay, so we're going to keep these ones red. So the 1, the and after 2, and the 3. We're going to keep those ones red. And we're going to change the other ones. Oops. We're going to change these ones. No, not that one. We're going to change these ones to be grey. Okay? Like that. So let's go through the same process. So we're just going to practice saying the notes. So, and making the grey ones quiet. So 1 and 2 and 3 and. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, then we're going to practice playing the notes at the same time when we see a red number. So that would sound like this in this case. So here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Do that one more time for you. So remember, we're playing the notes exactly the same time as we're seeing the red numbers underneath. So, and here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, so as I mentioned, I've made a sheet for you guys where all of these numbers have been written out for you. So what I'd like you to do is practice doing exactly what we were doing there, where first of all we say the numbers underneath, we say the grey ones quietly and the red ones loudly, and then we're going to have a go at saying all of that and playing the notes on top when we see them next to a red number. Okay? Again, this has been quite a lot of information for you guys, so if you do have any questions, please put them in the comments down below, or ask Louise at Dalmain to forward on your message so that I can get back to you, because I know that this is quite difficult to do remotely for you. Okay? So, I would like you to see how much of this you can do. I think at the very least you should be able to have a crack at the first 2 lines of this, but if you can do it all, then that would be really, really great as well. Okay, cool. I will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.